Well, check that out. If people get arrested for peaceful protesting, then how do I know I'm not going to be arrested for walking around in my stupid purple clown costume I plan on wearing in my next YouTube video? Well, let's see. I've got that uniform, which I refer to as Sagalim, dress purples, right here and now. That would be a video from Farron Cousins' social and political commentary, Ring of Fire. Big shout out to him. You can learn a lot from that man. You should pay very close attention to him. A lot about the way federal income tax works, our system of government works, and so on and so forth, along with the courts. But more specifically, let's see here. Paper at there. No, it's right here. Here you go. Coming up in videos that I like to make in the future, do anything I can to help anybody out, to learn anything that I've figured out how to do myself. And that will include, but not be limited to, as time goes on, scaffolds, food preparation, athletics, ASVAB, Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery Studies, and other academics, distance running, automotive vehicle detailing, whatever kinds of technical tidbits I could possibly come up with, although I'm not really that great on it. I'm not a professional mechanic, I'm not a home economics specialist, I'm nowhere near the level of somebody as astute as Pitbull Steve for Freeport, Long Island, or Joe's Auto Electric in Jersey City. I'm nowhere near close to that. But for example, there's another guy, I don't remember his name, that has like, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of viewers on detailing vehicles, and he's only working on vehicles that are in good shape and not really going into extensive detail of how he's doing it. I could teach you a whole lot about that. Maybe not as much as somebody like Rennie Doyle. Or Rennie with an R, like Renoir, Renbert, not like my name, Ben Piscopo and Hiram Biffidum. Not Benny, Rennie, forever that's worth. People like that, and some of the people in the area, guys like Rennie and people in the area around me, can actually do at least as good of a job as I do at that, and probably even better. I believe that I provide the most bang for the buck. Even though I'm not really that fast at it, it does take me quite a considerable amount of time. As you can see in this goofy t-shirt that I wear, the tonal Hebrew equivalent in a Roni computer font, that's what that called, read from right to left. The German acronym of, the German word for city, which stands for an acronym that uses the English words Special Tools and Definitive Techniques. STADT. That's what that spells out. Shin, Tait, Aleph, Dalet, Tait. The only thing that limits you is your imagination. And I like using the phrase whenever I can help somebody, don't worry, it's okay, sit tight, you will be up and running soon. Among other things, like the way that I have these boots that I'm wearing shine. Belleville 700Vs. Like that, how that's set up. Believe it or not, if you go to the YouTube video, which I'll try to provide a link here, these are the very same boots that I was wearing in that 5K running race at the Earl Naval Weapons Station, Pierside at the Jersey Shore in Monmouth County, all the way back in 2008. That's a whole nother thing in and of itself. How to shine boots, how to finagle and change things with clothing. like I had promised at the end of that series of 10 videos that I called Smudge Mudging. Like these eyeglasses. How I was trying to show that if you get a cotton buff and you use what's intended for the plastics and the fine glass, as long as it can't take the heat on these lenses, how they look before and that, and it's not 100% perfect, but it's a lot better than what it was. If you look into that, you can kind of still see the scratches, but if you're wearing them, it's nowhere near as bad. And then in the sides of here, you got to be real careful when you put that into a shop vise or something like that. Squeeze it, you can drill a hole in there, and if you set up an elastic cord, it says like it matches what I got on here, they'll hold right on. And they won't move around on you. You want to carefully set it up at the right tension so it's not loose. Without it, they'll go flying all over the place. Which is a whole nother piece of advice that, in my own personal opinion, my own humble opinion, I like to think is an expert opinion, there's really not that much of a difference between a pair of corrected eyeglass lenses that cost $10 and ones that cost anywhere from $600 to $800. Two places you don't want them to be: where you stand, where your feet might be, and where where you sit, where your backside might be. You want to designate 2 or 3 places around any given household structure that you're in where you'd want them to be. That way you don't get them lost. For me, that would be on, what would that be on? That would be on the top of the reservoir of the toilet in the first floor bathroom house that I live in, and maybe next to the nightstand or in front of the computer or something like that, in order to prevent what I call, and I refer to as gray out, as opposed to, let's say, blackout, when you lose all of your electricity and your electric goes off, or a brownout or sag goes down, or sometimes in meteorology and weather forecasters you see on cable television, they call it whiteout, when it snows so hard and you can't even see around you and everything's all bright. I mean, gray out, that name comes from when you say have, for a prime example of that, like a set of keys to an automobile, or tools, or things that are carrying with you, and you're trying to organize them, and you drop it on the ground, on the pavement, on the asphalt, and part of that's white, part of that's black, part of that's gray, you can't see it. If it's dark out, next thing you know, you're in a panic, going around in circles, not able to find it, or you're searching for articles of clothing that you're already wearing, or something that you can't find, something you already have in your pocket or you have under your armpit. Something that the actress in an interview, Mayim Bialik, from the television show Big Bang, and many years before that, I believe it was WPIX-11, Blossom, she sometimes would have that happen. That and more on things with social, religious matters that, basically, not to go off topic, but in a nutshell, saying things that, if even when they're true, not nice, that it's mean to do, and so on and so forth. Like these holsters from Rip-Off Manufacturing that are set up on here. This here is designed to hold a Texas Instruments TI-86 calculator. I like to believe I'm like that a human version. Yeah, in my phony baloney fantasies, like what's known as the Texas Instruments Cadillac Gauge Stingray. If this right here, if you're actually a combat engineer or a sapper, this is a good idea to do this like this, but you would not want to use a graphing calculator. This is something you want around to do sophisticated math. When they're looking for relative equivalency factors, they carry something like a TI-35 stat that could put up with more abuse just to find out percentages. But more on mathematics and things like that in another video. This on the right, which is not quite set up properly, is a BlackBerry Priv phone. how this works here. That goes on there. If you carefully make incisions, you can set it up so that you can take a pair of earphones, kind of like the guy that made the Scotty vest on Shark Tank. And set it up with a pair of Skull Candy with a K brand headphones, which are actually better to me, better than what you get at a convenience store, like that of 7-Eleven. Carefully cut the holes in the sides with an X-Acto knife, like you see here, and the right tiny little scissors in order to get inside that. And then you could control the buttons, manipulate them with your hand. You could switch this to more Velcro in order to get more retention on that, slightly down more to deal with the rain. Take this and put it inside here through this hole. Set that up. Put that in there. You'll get way better volume than if you had with Bluetooth. Hook this up right with a safety vest under that. This is closer up to the top. By doing that, you can control the music that you listen to. While you're on a telephone talking to somebody else, you can hear exactly what they're saying. That's how that would work. Let's see here. What else? How to create stencils for some, I don't know, basic fundamental artwork, like I did with this case that was used in order to hold tools. Where if you go to Hobbyland, I don't know about Trader Joe's, or somewhere in New Jersey, they have AC Moore and Michael's Arts and Crafts. I think Michael's went out of business. Like I have set up on here. That word in Hebrew, like on a shirt. Shin tight, I'd after that tight, where this letter that makes a sound is silent. That letter that's silent makes a sound. German word for city. You're going to write with Stadt. And over here, what is that? Magen David Sagol, meaning Star of David purple. Like the goofy suit that I'm wearing, a star on it. This in particular I use in order to hold drafting tools and measuring devices. Believe it or not, I think somebody might have given this to me for free somewhere along the borders of Scotch Plains and Fanwood, New Jersey. Got a compass, different colors of pencils, different rulers, measuring, some metal, some plastic, French curve, triangles, so on and so forth. A precision square, stencils or such, special type erasers in order to do that. Make a whole world of difference if you're trying to compete with other people that are using Autodesk AutoCAD, automatic computer-aided drafting or something like that, where basically that's like having, I don't know what, 1 or 200,000 different hands and precision pens and pencils all going at the same time. And doing exactly what you tell them to do and pressing the return or the enter button in order to get it to do it. As opposed to where if you did something like an architect or a mechanical engineer would do with their hands. Like that photograph of that guy from the former Soviet Union, Mikhail Kalashnikov, that rifle he made. There's like a portrait of him standing there in front of that. Thank you. And if you're watching this, if you like it, please click subscribe. Please click like and share if you enjoy that. Oh yeah, one more extremely important thing. Let's see, how far are we on time in this video, being that so far as it stands now, I suck at creating this. For one thing, I'm an amateur and I never really did these videos before, and in addition to that, I can't really afford editing software, whether it's internet-based and downloaded to that, plus that computer over there, that e-machine, some Walmart dates, believe it or not, is 12 years old. It's not that fast. So let me check behind this camera, see where we're at with time. We are, how far are we into this? 14 minutes, almost 15 minutes. Okay, You do not have to support me on Patreon because there is no Patreon account to support me on, not because I don't want one, but because over 40 million people, not will be, are out of work. People are struggling to survive. There is an eviction crisis in Houston, Texas, and the surrounding areas of Harris County, where that's at, and the constabulary, another word for like a sheriff's department around there, is evicting people out of their houses and homes. People are struggling to survive. People are struggling to get by. All I ask is that if you like the videos, please click like. If you want to see more of them, click subscribe and click the bell. I'll do the best I possibly can. Even though I'm like a wannabe mechanic and engineer and technician that's really just like a maintenance parts changer, combination maintenance parts changer, and do various different things associated with refuse collection. That's what I get paid for. Literally standing on top of a recycling machine, picking out recyclables, driving garbage trucks, hanging on the back of garbage trucks. I have a commercial driver's license. Painting, reconditioning, repairing of trash receptacles, roll-off boxes, dumpsters, and garbage containers. Various different things like that. That's what I actually do for a living. So typically I work about 8 hours a day. I'm working on trying to ride a bicycle back and forth from where I live in Westfield, New Jersey to North Brunswick in order to save money on fuel. Because the pickup truck I got with the 5.4 Triton engine on it that I haven't, so embarrassing, I haven't paid back my parents a red cent for yet. I was warned by a guy my father was good friends with at a Ford dealership that if the spark plugs didn't work or the coil packs or something like that and enough unspent fuel would go through the catalytic converters and the emission system, it would screw it up, and that's what's happened. So one problem is fixed and another one now arises. But the good news is that the truck works and it's not getting 7 or 8 miles, it's actually getting 12 miles a gallon instead of 7 or 8. I guess whatever comments you want, please post. Even if they're negative, that's okay too, as long as there isn't any really bad cussing, or really atrocious cussing or threats or something. You back me into a corner and I'm left with no other choice but to report it, because very much like Red Bear and the Den of Tools, I really want these videos to be for everybody. I don't want to have to click 18 and over only for adults. And even though I might have emotional problems myself, I know that if I say something mean and crappy and lousy enough, okay, well then people are not going to watch and see the content that I create or that I upload, whether it's good or not. Thank you so much, and God bless.